The chair recognizes Ms. Harris of Williamson County on her first bill to explain House Bill 2132.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For what purpose, Mr. Harris?
Will the gentlelady yield
Would
for
you
questions?
Yield? Wait, Mr. Harris, would you wait until we lay the bill out, please?
I will yield to questions as long as the gentleman helps me get...
We're not, Ms. Harris. Hang on just a second. The clerk has to read the bill.
Breaching decorum.
Members, you've heard the explanation of House Bill 2132. Is there objection to consideration? The chair hears none. The chair lays out House Bill 2132. The clerk will read the bill.
HB 2132 by Harris of Williamson.
The question occurs on passage to engrossment. Oh, excuse me.
Mr.
The chair
Speaker.
recognizes Mr. Harris. Ms. Harris. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr.
For what
Speaker.
reason?
Will the gentlelady yield the floor?
Ms. Harris, would you yield?
I will as long as the gentleman helps me get all my bills through calendars.
Wrong calendar's wrong.
Wrong
Mr.
calendar.
Harris, Mr. Harris, she does yield the floor. I believe that was your motion. Or your
Correct,
question.
Mr. Speaker.
I yield.
She will yield.
For questions,
Yeah.
for questions, for questions.
Oh! I heard floor. I heard questions.
Ms. Harris, you have yielded, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe this is the second time. I did say questions the first time before you were recognized, but this time when you were recognized, I asked for the floor, and you yielded.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Vasut, for what
does
purpose?
the gentleman posing as a representative yield for a question?
Mr. Harris, would you yield for a question?
Happy to.
So, are your initials CJ or CE?
My initials are CJ.
Okay, that's really confusing. What does the J stand for?
Joe.
Okay. Do you know what the E stands for?
E?
Yeah.
In the other...
Is it Edgar?
Edgar?
Yeah.
Edgar, Edward, something along those lines, I would imagine, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you get your hair done at the same place as the representative that you're posing?
I highly doubt it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Wait, you have a better question? But let the gentleman lay out some more information here. We'll
Okay.
go from there.
So just to be clear, I asked if the gentlelady would yield the floor, and she said yes. And thankfully, the speaker was listening intently, as he always does, and was able to differentiate between yielding the floor and yielding for questions. So I hope that the remainder of the freshmen are watching and paying attention and listen whenever they are asked to yield, so that this doesn't happen. Because as you know, Mr. Vasut, you and I can stand here and talk back and forth for 10 minutes. And if we speak for 10 minutes, her bill dies and goes back to local and consent.
It's very true.
And I don't have a problem with that if they failed to pay attention to the previous week and what happened to Mr. Gerdes. We got fairly close to 3 minutes. 3 minutes left on his time remaining.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Vasut, for what
point of
purpose?
parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
How much time is remaining?
It's going to be a long time. There's 6.5 more minutes.
Oh, man. Okay, we got to go longer. Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Vasut, for what
raise a
purpose?
point of a question for the gentleman if he'll yield.
Mr. Harris, would you yield to Mr. Vasut for
Happy
a
to.
question?
So, Mr. Harris, what's your favorite food?
Man, that's tough. Probably if I was on death
Is it
row
peanut
and I was
butter?
about to have
Is
my
it peanut
first
butter
meal.
cups? You ate several of them yesterday.
What was it?
Peanut butter cups?
Yeah, Reese's
They're good?
peanut butter cups. That's absolutely what
good?
I was about to say.
Do you eat one or two each day?
Each day,
Yeah.
on average,
Yeah, average is fine.
one.
Oh, so rookie numbers.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What does this bill do?
That's a great question. This bill, this is when members can start asking you questions. Looks like her staff did a lot of This bill is about the Texas State Technical College campus in Williamson County.
Ask him.
So I assume it's to do with workforce development and stuff like that.
Ms. Harris, for what purpose?
Does the gentleman yield for questions?
No.
He does not yield at this time, Ms. Harris.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
How much time is left in the debate?
Well, we're getting close, Ms. Harris.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I yield back the floor to the freshman.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. No running on the House floor, Ms. Harris, but I'd walk quickly.
He took the book. It's all good.
Who's back right
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Buckley, for what
will the
purpose?
know all that.
gentlelady yield for questions?
Would you
I
yield
yield
for questions,
for
Ms. Harris?
questions.
Okay.
She will.
Is it true that you're often mistaken for the chairman of local consent calendars in the E1 hallway?
That is true.
Could you describe for us, or excuse me, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Harris, Mr. Buckley, for what purpose?
Would gentlelady yield for a
Would
question?
you yield for
I
a
yield.
question?
Is it true that you and the chairman of local and consent are related? And if you could please describe the family tree beginning back somewhere around the 1500s, so we know exactly. Because I know time here. We want to make sure that we really investigate what's going on here. So how are you related to the chairman of local and consent?
It's a very long story, but I do. If you'd like to come to my office to see the family tree, I'd love to show it to you. Just let me know.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Buckley, for what
Would the
purpose?
gentlelady yield for a question?
Would
I
you
yield.
yield, Ms. Harris? Or
Is
would
this
you
first
yield
bill, is it a
more?
conservative bill?
Say it one more time.
Is this your first bill, is it a conservative bill?
Yes, sir. It's the most conservative bill I believe we'll have all session, actually.
All right, I appreciate it. You've done a good job handling all this morning, so welcome to the Texas House.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Harris, for what purpose?
will the gentlelady yield for questions?
Would you yield for questions, Ms.
Mr.
Harris?
Speaker, how much time do I have left?
It's not a proper parliamentary inquiry, but I'd get the question over pretty quickly.
I yield.
Ms. Harris, can you tell me what line 10 on page 1 of your bill states?
The chair is not advised.
I'm sorry?
The chair is not advised.
You don't know what your bill does.
I know it helps my district.
Your bill is right here, but you can't tell me what your bill does.
My bill authorizes TSTC to have a campus in my district.
Okay. Ms. Harris, it's my understanding you recently got engaged, correct?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. Who did you get engaged to?
His name is Daryl Davila, and he's from Corpus Christi.
From Corpus Christi. Where does he work?
He works very close to this chamber,
Over there?
possibly.
So he works in the governor's office or in the Senate?
The chair is not advised.
Mr. Speaker,
the chair is very well advised. Mr. Harris, for what purpose?
I'll continue my line of questioning. Ms. Harris, it's my understanding that there are a couple of stacks of 100s that have been missing for the last couple of days. Do you or your fiance have any idea where those $100 bills are?
Mr. Harris, would you confine your
The
questions
chair
to
is definitely
to the
not
bill?
advised.
Congratulations on your first bill, Ms. Harris, and welcome to the Texas
Thank
House.
you. I appreciate
Mr.
it.
Speaker,
Mr. Raymond, for what
very
purpose?
quickly, would the lady yield for
I yield if I have time.
question?
Mr. Raymond, she does not yield at this time because it's getting really
Please
close.
yield for a question, just for a quiz.
Move passage.
The question occurs on passage to engrossment of House Bill 2132. Is there objection? The chair hears none. House Bill 2132 is passed to engrossment.
Good job.